guys, welcome back to another episode with Joe and Kay.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Kay.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody
Yes.
who's been tuning in. We've done better than I thought we would, actually.
I think so. It's been a lot funner. I don't even think that's a way
No,
to
it's
say
not.
it.
Totally not.
Okay, so just kidding. Anyway.
It's been a lot more fun than you thought it was going to be?
Yes,
Is that what
there
you're
you go.
saying?
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm glad we haven't had like this weird negative feedback.
No, everything I've heard is pretty good. It was a little tensiony with the vaccination
I knew it would
episode. And some of my friends, I think, wish that I would have been a little more no, your babies will die of that vaccination.
Oh.
But all moms for themselves.
Yep.
That's what we're trying
agree.
to, that's our message, I think.
Yeah.
I love you. You love me. Let's just.
It's fine.
We're
all good.
I'll let your unvaccinated children hang out with my vaccinated children.
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking about?
How nice it is with the sunshine.
Oh, that. But I was, for some reason, I felt like I went into a time machine the other day.
Why?
And I kind of had a flashback. It was really weird. Of I think it was my junior year. It was my senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I had this teacher. No, it was junior. So anyway, it doesn't matter. His name was Mr. Boyle. And he was the football coach. And he was kind of sexist.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time we were having a boys versus girls vocabulary competition in class.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really hard words. And he asked me, and I didn't know. And I said, actually, Mr. Boyle, luckily I don't have to know how to spell because I have a vagina, which means
stop it.
Which means I'm only good for cooking and cleaning.
Did he agree with you?
His mouth opened a little bit, and he said, "Don't go there, Miss." Whatever my married name, unmarried name was. And I said, "I'm just saying."
Just saying.
And people started laughing really hard. But
I think that's awesome.
He was kind of a sexist jerk, but he's probably dead now, so. Mr. Boyle, if you're out there listening to this, you're kind of sexist. But, you can't help the time you were born in. He was really old.
Oh, just let him.
Mm-hmm.
I had this teacher in, I think it was high school. And I've carried this as truth, but the more I think about it, I don't know if I was just being a gullible child.
Mm-hmm.
But we called him Mr. W or Mr. Waltersdorf. But I heard that his actual name was Waltersdorfinski Meyerberger Meisterstein. And now I want to go back in time and find Mr. Waltersdorf and ask him if that was his real freaking name.
The things that stick with us.
Isn't that
or
random?
Come back to us randomly. Yeah.
Yeah. Waltersdorfinski Meyerberger Meisterstein. I'd be like, well, we can't get married. Definitely. So I'm not carrying that baggage.
Yeah.
How do you even sign anything?
Yeah, I don't.
Or I wonder if kids just made
hour.
that up. He kind of reminded me of Shrek with a beard.
Yeah,
Even his ears stuck out like funnels. I know.
Are you sure he was human?
No.
He might have been an alien.
I think.
Or an
what
ogre.
class did he teach? He was an ogre, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Waltersdorfinski Meyerberger Meisterstein. Ogre.
Oh my gosh.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, that's interesting because, we're talking about blasts from the past. And I'm going to talk about mom friends. Mom friends and asking for help.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Because those are, I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because mom friends aren't the same
as other friends.
No.
I think you have mom friends, and then you have your support friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your marriage bashing friends.
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Yes.
think you have friends and each person meets a need in your life. So you're all connected deeply
Yeah.
to somebody, but it's all on a
There are
different
different categories
level.
of friends.
Mhm.
Yes. And that's, yeah.
And then you have your work friends.
Yeah.
And then
I
and
like
work friends are
everyone.
the people that you're just really close to in like meetings or like all about work stuff.
I saved your seat.
Yeah. But
Oh.
then you like never talk to them in life
Yeah.
outside of work.
Or you might like some of their stuff on Facebook. You might be Facebook friends with them.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on Facebook.
I started Facebook friending some people at work, and then I thought, I'll only be friends with this, like these 3 people or whatever. And then people through them kept like asking. So now I'm friends with, quite a few people at work. And that was not, I don't know, cuz I really like to separate my personal life
Yeah.
and my work life. Those are very
Mhm.
separate, but sometimes that's kind of hard to do.
It can be.
Yeah. And especially if they're on Facebook. Then they're seen unless I block them,
Yeah.
which takes a lot of effort.
See, I like to feel out the type of mom they are before you can become a mom friend.
Oh.
Because it's like, are you the mom that's just going to want to be like, oh my gosh, there's like a new mom group and they're totally going to have gardening day at the park. We should totally bring the kids to gardening day. And then I would be like, we should totally never do that. Because that sounds like a horrible fucking idea. And then you have your mom friends that are like, let's go to the park and ignore our kids. And I'll be like,
yes.
Please let me know what time you want to be there because I want to do that. Because that's like mommy timeout.
But then you cancel last minute because
I
like
don't
you don't really want to go. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's me. And if you want to be my mom friend, you have to understand.
Because I'm like, how real? Like, what do you mean go to the park and ignore your kids? Like, I'm legit ready to go to the park and ignore my kids. Like, I'm not gonna push you on a swing.
No.
I'm not like gonna get in the play set with you and like go play.
No.
Like, I literally just want you to go like boop, shoo shoo.
I thought that's what
thing.
parks were for.
No, because you have the moms that are like,
no,
let's go
I
do our kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be right back. So cute. She totally needs my help over there. I'm going to go climb that little thing with her. I'm like, then I'm just sitting there by myself all awkward when my kids are playing by themselves. And then you have Betty Joan over there chasing her kid around.
So things like that have happened at the playground. Like the moms who decide to play tag with all the kids, like set up a game. Have you ever seen this go down? I've seen this go down a few times. Yes. They're like, oh, and then they get your kids involved in their game of tag. And then I'm like, no, I did not come here to feel guilty. So I just sit there. And then my daughter's like, Mom, aren't you going to come play tag with us?
No.
And I do. I say, well, no. Well, they're all playing tag. I'm like, well, that was their choice.
Yeah. I'm not going to play tag with you. One time we were at the park and they
or
brought
other
like
people's
this.
kids. I'm not going to touch other people's kids. Like, that's weird to me.
That's funny. Well, this is what I'm going to say is this. We went to the park one day and it was like totally like everybody was there. It was a packed house at the park. And these people brought like this like air thing, like I don't even know what it is. The kids step on it and the thing flies up in the air and comes back down.
Yeah.
So all the kids were intrigued by this. Like everybody wanted to play with this toy. So they all had them like lined up. Well, my daughter kept trying to go to the front of the line or like step on it before other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching her, but there were like other parents. So I'm like, somebody will say something to her. Like, I don't need to be over there, and one of the
People
moms.
are too scared.
No, one of the moms totally like touched the sides of her shoulders. Not in a harsh way, just touched it. And she said, it's not your turn. You need to go to the back of the line. And she stepped on it. She said, no, it's not your turn. You need to go to the back of the line, and kind of guided her. And I'm like walking over there at that point, not because of her, but because my daughter
needed some redirection.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, Cecilia, you need to get to the back of the line. And she was like, oh my gosh, is that your daughter? And I'm like, yeah. She was like, I am so sorry. Like, I'm like, why are you apologizing? She was like, well, because I'm like, okay, you did nothing wrong. Like, obviously she wasn't listening. I'm glad you did that. Thank you for doing that. But it was weird how, like, she was so like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Like, ready to get in trouble.
Yes.
Like, you're going to beat her.
Like, I'm going to knock her out.
Spit at her.
Like, no, she wasn't listening. Thank you for making her listen. I shouldn't have to be up her butt to, like, have her listen. Like, she should just be listening, whether it's me or, you know what I'm saying?
I try really hard to keep my distance from other people's kids because I don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah.
And one time I went to the park and there was a guy packing a handgun. It was very visual, very, like, I was like, I don't know who your kid is, but
yeah,
I hope no one crosses him.
I've heard kids, like, say cuss words, and I'd be like, I'm pretty sure your mom would not be interested in you saying those words, and what do you think your mom would do if I went to go talk to her right now? Like, I've said that to kids, but, oh my gosh. You know what I did the other day?
What did you do?
So, the neighbor next door, the one over there, who I have zero relationship with. Yeah. So this neighbor, I've kind of been rude to her. Like, them. Not just her, but the whole family. Like, I can't, not rude, but I go out of my way to, like, not talk to them.
Yeah, my dad, we grew up in my house. We lived there for, like, 15, 16 years. And we never had any conversations with any of the neighbors.
Oh, no. It's just one neighbor.
Oh, and my dad was like, no, don't talk to the neighbors.
Yeah. Well, ever since they moved in, I just haven't talked to them. And I'm like, meh, I don't want to. And my husband talks to them all the time. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I just, like, keep walking.
You don't feel the need to be neighborly?
Not for some reason.
Okay.
No. Okay. But then I kind of feel bad, but then I'm like, I like to be consistent. So I can't just all of a sudden start being nice, and they'll be like, what? I don't know what happened the last year, and now all of a sudden you're talking to me. So that would be even weirder. So I just have to, like, keep not talking to them to keep consistency.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Right?
Like,
it would
that
just
would be
weird.
It would
if
be
all
weird.
of a sudden I just got all friendly, right? And they'd be like, she's a little cuckoo wax. So anyway, their kid, ever since they moved in, has been, like, sneaking around the neighborhood, like, doing these weird things. And it's just, like, people notice him, and they're like, he's, like, the weirdo kid. And I have been saying, like, I just want to go talk to his parents and be like, your kid's doing really weird things. Like, he would skateboard around the corner, and as soon as he couldn't see his house anymore, he would pick up his skateboard and, like, run into the woods for, like, weird amounts of time. And he would do it, like, late at night too. And sometimes he would be, like, in the bushes on the side of his house, and then when somebody would come around, he would just, like, go inside the house. And even other neighbors would text me and be like, you work with kids, like,
what's going on?
So the other night we were laying in bed, my husband and I, and he was on the side of the house, but the same side of our bedroom, and the window was open, and it sounded like he was digging in garbage, but then it sounded like he was peeing. And I was just like, what is that kid doing? So we got out of bed, and we're both, like, peeking out the window, spying in our underwear.
Totally.
And he wasn't peeing. He was taking a soda can, and he popped it open and was, like, draining it out. And he totally started smoking weed out of it on the side of the house. So my husband, being the very mature person, goes, boogity, 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 right out the window really loud, and scared the crap out of this kid. And he took his little marijuana coke pipe and he ran into the woods. And then as he's running, my husband's like, don't worry, everyone, he's just smoking weed.
And we live in a legal state. It's legal in the state of Washington, but you have to be
18.
I thought it was 21.
I don't know.
It's 21.
Is it 21?
Yeah.
Well, you got to be something not his age.
You got to be 21.
So after that, like,
how old is he?
I don't. He's
12,
like
13.
Between 12 and 15.
Okay.
Somewhere in that age range. I honestly don't know, but just by looking at him, which you can't really gauge off of that. So I was kind of talking to my mom friend across the street, Lacey, and her and I are both like, both the husbands are like, just let, like, kids will be kids, just let them do it. And me and her are both like, no, if that was my kid, I would want the neighbor to tell me what my kid's doing.
Yeah.
So I totally did.
Girl, what'd you do?
So I went to go when we got home from.
So this is someone that you've not talked to.
Never.
That you've like.
Never. So the first time, so that was awkward. So I dropped the kids off. I picked them up from school and I dropped them off. And I'm like, hey, I have to run over to the next door neighbor's house real quick. Hang out with your sister. I'll be right back. And so I go over there and I knocked on the door and she heard one of the kids answer the door and she was like laying on the couch with a blanket. And I'm like, hey, can we talk for just a second? And she came to the door and she was like, oh, are you the neighbor that lives next door? And I'm like, yeah, I am. She's like, oh, yeah, I've just never seen you up close before. And
just to add a little awkwardness to the,
So I'm like, I just wanted to let you know that your son has been smoking marijuana on each side of your house and like sneaking off into the woods and mom to mom, I just thought you should know. And she'd be like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, I'm definitely not kidding you. And we watched him last night. He was on the side of your house and he was emptying out a soda can and he was smoking out of it. I was like, I thought he was peeing. And then my husband scared him and he ran into the woods. And then she was like, thank you for telling me. He's been caught doing this before and I thought we were done with this. So that was like for me, like, okay, good. Like, and then I didn't tell my husband that until like later on. And then I heard them pull up. I could hear their car in the driveway and I kind of looked out the window and he and his mom were sitting in the car in the driveway for like a long time. And my other neighbor texted me and she was like, that kid and his mom have been sitting in the park in the driveway for like the longest time. Like, that poor kid.
He's getting it handed to him. That's why.
So I tell my husband, I'm like, when he came home and I got the text from the neighbor and I started laughing. He was like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, well, I totally told the mom next door that kid was smoking weed. And now they've been sitting in the car in the driveway for like a really long time. And he was like, he's probably so pissed. He probably thinks that was me who told. He's probably wishing he could get high right now dealing with her.
He's like, this is why I do it, Mom. These lectures. It's because of you.
So I kind of felt bad, but then not really. So now it's even more awkward when I see them.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't really care.
Has he said something like, mouth to you, snitches get stitches? Has he said anything like that? Okay, that's good.
No, because I'd be like, come at me, bro.
I know you would. I kind of would want to see. I would buy a ticket.
My husband would be like, this is really inappropriate. You don't tell kids you're going to come at them.
Yeah.
Do it, bro. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, mom friends. They're not, so, I have my friends, a handful of them that I've known since I was 10.
Yeah.
Like those are my oldest friends. And then, you got my work friends who, if something bad happened at work, like I would go, like, let's say, I would go to them and talk to them. The friend you text
me, you're like, girl. Girl.
Do you know what so-and-so just said to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
This bitch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I have my friend Amy, and we talk on the regular.
Like, is she a mom friend, or would you say she's
like an all-around friend?
Okay.
Like Amy, I would say she is my best friend, but she lives on the other side of the United States. So we only see each other in person once a year. She flies out here to come see me. She knows my parents. Like, she flew out here last year when my parents came into town. She just
Mhm.
everything. We group text her husband, my husband, and like us. We all like group text, like sending each other funny things, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I know like everything about her life. She knows everything about mine. So I would say that. So that's like the bestie. And then you have your
Mhm.
other category of friends,
Mhm.
which is
Do you
like
have friends without out kids?
no.
Yeah. I have quite a
Well,
few.
I have friends who have adult kids.
Okay. I think that's along the same lines.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I don't have any friends that like don't have kids.
Yeah. I do.
Cuz I would get so annoyed so quick.
Yeah.
Because when they like work, I'm over here like working and kids and going to school and doing all this stuff, and then you have like the one friend who's single and no kids and can go out and like works, and then they're like, "I'm so exhausted." I'm like, "You literally maybe I am having compassion fatigue right now for you, but like literally you have no idea what it feels like to be exhausted." But I
Yeah.
think that they do, and that's all
I
they
think they
know.
feel exhausted in their
That's their
area.
situation.
Yes. In
The
their life.
exhaustion they're used to.
Yes. In their life that's exhausting.
Like, wait till you have a couple of kids that don't shut up.
Yeah.
And you gotta
And like
clean a house.
my friends that I think have made the conscious decision not to have kids. It's not like they're single. They're married and they just,
I
have
think
their
that's a
own.
great idea. You should
Yeah.
never have kids. I tell people that. I don't encourage people to
Yeah.
have kids.
I am not
It doesn't add happiness to your life. And that's a very controversial thing to say as a mom.
How dare you?
I know. Kids don't add happiness
No.
to your life. It's a different feeling, but it's
Well,
not
it's kind of, yeah,
happiness.
it's interesting. Like when my daughter does something that she's proud of herself for, like I feel happy for her, like beyond like what I'd feel for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when she's sad, like I think it hurts me more than,
Well, yeah, I
you
think there's
know.
like that emotional piece, but it doesn't like, I don't know. I'm not like, I think
No, I know what you're saying,
I'm
and I'm not
not,
disagreeing with you.
yeah.
No, I know
But
what
I
you're
think
saying.
some people are so wrapped up in like the emotional aspect of being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like connect mom and emotion in the same.
I noticed you have like a different boundary,
Yeah,
and like
there's
you're.
no like absolutely I love my kids but I don't have like this emotional
Mhm.
like I don't know how to explain that. Like I'm never like I should never say that cuz it's going to hurt their feel like that type of stuff.
And that is me too much.
That never crosses my mind.
Oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just said that. I wonder if that's gonna scar her for life.
No, I never
Like,
say that.
I'm actually better about that now.
Yeah.
But when my daughter was younger, and you and I were talking about this beforehand,
Mhm.
and this is like a mom conversation, you know. I don't think I would have a conversation like this with my non-mom friends, but I did a lot of stuff like, uh,
Cater.
yeah, or like I was talking to you about how I took her roller skating, and I didn't let her fall.
No.
And I called my dad and I was like, Dad, my back hurts so bad. Like it was so hard keeping her up. And he was like, why don't you just let her fall? That's how she learns.
Yeah.
Like that's how, and he was like, don't you remember falling roller skating?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally remember falling.
See, even like with my daughter, her
Why?
learning how to dress herself.
Mm-hmm.
And at that 3 or 4 range, they like
Mhm.
start crying instantly and they're like, I can't do it. And I always tell my kids, don't tell me you can't do something just
Mhm.
because you're frustrated in the moment.
Mhm.
If you would just calm down, you would totally be able to think straight to
Mhm.
get this figured out. And I talk just like that to my
Mhm.
kids. even at 3 years old.
Oh yeah, I didn't change my voice.
Yeah,
I didn't do that.
no.
When I was, when they're infants, I did that parentese talk, and that's part of development and stuff. But by the time she was 2, 3, I was talking to her. She's a human. She understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, she's always been a human, of course, but like, she understands me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to dumb it down for her.
No.
And I'm not going to, and that's, but I had a daughter who would fall, and I'd go to like hug her. This was starting at 2. And she'd be like, "Stop it, Mom. Get away from me." Like, she would not want comfort.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting. And she's still like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, just let me. And sometimes, she just wants to cry by herself and have space. And then she talks to me about it later. And that's fine. That's how that's who she is.
Even like both my kids have fell down the stairs at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I just start laughing. Like, I don't run over to them. They fall down and I laugh and I look and I'm like, "Uh-oh, it looks like you fell down. Are you okay?" And of course they're crying or whatever, and it's like, "Okay, come here, come talk to me." But I never get up and go to them. I just like talk them through it and then have them come over to me. And it's like, "Well, it seems like you're fine. You're probably crying because that scared you. Did that scare you?" And they would be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Maybe you shouldn't do that again."
Is it like when they're goofy? Is it like when they're goofing off on the stairs?
No, like even because we've never used baby gates. On this, the only time I use baby gate is at the top of the stairs, but not at the bottom. So they could go up the stairs, but they could never go down, like, because that would freak me out. And only because my daughter had like this ride-on toy, and she literally like rode it down the stairs and like flopped all over the place with that ride-on toy. And I was more worried because the toy like totally scratched the paint in the wall, and I didn't have that color paint in the garage to like do a touch up. So I was like more like, my wall, the paint is totally chipped off. Like, you'll be fine, but like now I have to go to the store and paint the wall. You know?
I don't even know how to respond to that. So yeah, I think you and I it's
but I think when people hear that and they're like, "I bet they have the worst relationship." And it's like, my kids and I are so close and very connected. And anytime like they're hurt, they just want their mom. Or,
well, it's like reality-based therapy. Yeah. Like, they're not, it's not like blowing smoke. It is what it is. And I'm telling you how this is. And this is,
yeah.
How
but
it is.
I'm like, the biggest supporter that they have. And, I think I showed you earlier, my son's doing testing next week, and I made him this like poster for school, and then I dropped it off at the office today so that he could have it in his classroom next week for testing. Because I want him to know, like, I believe in you, and I tell them that all the time. Like, nobody is going to love you more than I do. Nobody will fight in your corner harder than I will. But it is my job to teach you how to be able to manage yourself on your own. And you shouldn't have to rely on me to be around for every decision that you make. Like, you should be able to make choices without me being with you. And I trust that you're going to make the right choice.
Yeah.
And it's been fine. I totally trust, especially my son. I completely trust him. Of course, I like still like sneak around and read his journal when he goes to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Be a little nosy.
Hey, no.
Yeah, I'm totally nosy.
Oh, don't read his journal.
Yeah, I totally read his journal.
Oh my gosh.
I just need to know
I think it's awesome that he keeps a journal. So anyway, what about help? What about asking other moms for help? Have you been in situations, or not even other moms, just people in general, where you've needed help and you've asked for help?
Yeah, it's mostly, well, when I was pregnant with our daughter, I was really, really sick. And that was like the first time I really had to reach out to people and like ask for help. But it was within my comfort zone. Like,
the people you're going to?
Yeah, because they were just like friends. Well,
Were they people you'd done favors for before? Like
no.
were they people that okay?
Mm-mm.
Because
No.
that's usually who I go to. Like when I need help, I'm like,
You owe me one.
yeah, kind of like,
You know what that's weird is like when you offer help to somebody or like when you that awkward thing when you go to ask somebody for help and then you're like, "Oh, I could pay you." I get like annoyed when people do that to me cuz I've had other friends that would be like, "Oh, can you do like pick up so and so from school for me? I could totally give you gas money." It's like, first of all, our kids are at the same school.
mm-hmm,
Second of all, you literally live across the street from me. Why would you give me gas money for
yeah.
somewhere that but it's like
It's because
moms
you
feel like they have to
feel yes,
justify.
like I can't do this and I'm a failure.
Yeah,
And here's the
here's some
money.
money.
So it'll make
It's like,
everything
no, I don't
better
need
or
you to
make it less.
pay me.
Yeah. I
We even had friends that went on vacation. They went on like literally Ireland vacation. And I kept their son. And I mean, to the point where it's like I had his medical cards. We had like a little piece of paper saying if something was to happen, I had permission to,
mm-hmm,
whatever. They were
awesome.
out of the country. I never asked for money for that. But I feel like that's what friends are
Yeah.
for. Like, you can call somebody and be like, hey, we're going on vacation. We don't really want to take the kids. Can they come stay with you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why would you pay me for that? I'm already here raising my own kids. I'm
Yeah.
already feeding my own kids. Like, just bring me yours and make sure
Yeah.
they have their car seat or whatever.
That's how I feel. Like we had the neighbor girl over like for dinner for like a few like I don't know. We've had her over like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were having her over for dinner. We were having pizza and we got like a deal because of the amount of pizza we were ordering at the time. It was right after my daughter was born. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we were living off of. So we sent, because she had other siblings next door who didn't come over for pizza. So we sent a pizza over there. And the mom was like embarrassed about it. She was gone. She was working. And so
Yeah.
the older daughter, like she's like 16, was
Mm-hmm.
taking care of the 12-year-old and the 9-year-old. And she was, she was just like so flustered. Like it was hard for her to. And I was like, no, it's totally fine. We had a free pizza. We're not eating 2 pizzas.
Yeah.
And we just sent it over there. It was, not a big deal. And she was like, oh, well, I feel like I owe you one. And it was such a gift. I'm like, no,
Can you
don't
just
owe
say
me.
thank you?
Yeah, can't we
Like,
just.
girl, now I don't even
And
have to worry about dinner.
mm-hmm,
Honey.
exactly.
Thank
Or,
you, boo.
yeah, I hope there's some extra pizza for you. Like,
Yeah.
it's just such a
But I
hard, and
think
she's a
that's
single mom. And I think that sometimes that's even, maybe a little
yeah.
more like, no, I don't need any help.
Like a pity.
Why do
thing.
people ask? Why do people act like they don't need help? And I'm also guilty of this. Like I wonder if it's like animals,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and just in general,
I
if
need
they get
help
hurt,
doing chores. So if somebody wants to come do my laundry for me.
Yeah, my daughter, she does chores, but the other day she was complaining about it, and I said, "This isn't because I'm trying to teach you a lesson. This isn't because I think you should learn how to do this. This is because I need your help.
Yeah.
And you're old enough to help me, and I need your help." And she was just, I think it caught her off guard. She was like, oh.
I tell my son
Like,
that, actually. I'm
yeah.
just real with him in any situation or like when his dad's working late or I have finals or something.
Mhm.
And I'm like, look, excuse me. I totally need your help tonight. Like, I need you to help me with your sister. I need to get my homework done. I'll cook you guys something to eat, but I'm going to need you to serve her a plate. I need you to, make sure that she's quiet and she's not screaming so I can get this done. And there's a time where he'll play with his sister and like goof off and make her scream and like normal sibling stuff. But when I ask him, like, even at his young age, like, I need your help, he totally steps up to the plate. Like,
That's
he'll
awesome.
try to clean for me. He'll like saddest thing ever. It's like so sweet, but even I totally just laid in bed and cried and totally felt like a failure. Um, One night, I my husband was out of town. He was hunting, and I had like so much homework to do. And my daughter was really small, and I think I've told you she had colic, so she cried like all the time. And I just felt like I hadn't had a break in a few days. Like, my husband's gone. I'm doing all this by myself. And I just wanted to get everybody into bed so I could lay down and focus on my homework and get it turned in. And I'm like feeling overwhelmed, and my work phone is going off, and the baby's
and they
crying.
feel that stress.
Yes.
And that's
and
like
I
when
couldn't calm myself
no.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell
So when you
him,
need that
like,
the most, it's worse.
I had a moment, and I'm like, look, I just need everybody to be quiet and go to bed. Like, I haven't even eaten all day. I'm getting your dinner ready. I do not have time to sit down and eat. I don't have time to deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
in real mom form.
Because you were a student
Yes.
and a mom and alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to figure this out with this baby who would not stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm laying in bed, and I'm all sad. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I had a really hard day. Like, my son came in to tell me goodnight so we could say our prayers. And I'm like, I'm sorry I had a hard day. He was like, and you haven't eaten anything. I'm like, no, honey, I haven't eaten anything. I literally don't. I need to get my homework done. Like, I don't have time to sit down and eat. And I thought he went to bed. And like a few minutes later, he came up in my room, and he brought me burnt toast with butter. I'm like, totally gonna cry.
You're gonna make me cry. He
totally brought me burnt toast with butter on it, and was like, I'm sorry you had a bad day. You have to make sure you eat something. You have to take care of yourself. I lost it.
Yeah. Game
Lost
over.
it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, who are you? Who actually are you?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like 8 at the time. And I took a picture of that burnt toast so I could have it forever.
I would too. That's so sweet.
Oh, boo-boo.
Oh
my God. He's so sweet. But that's like real life parenting.
Yeah.
Like, when you have your moments where you just lose your shit.
Because you're real. We're all human.
Like, I don't know one mom that hasn't just like lost their shit in the moment. And then you feel really bad after. Like, sorry guys. Whoa. That was awful, right?
Yeah, and I kind of have this, it could have been way worse. That's always like where I'm like, I'm not really sorry.
But did you die?
Yeah. That's kind of, I'm like, I feel bad that I did that, and I apologize, and I have apologized to my kids, because I think that's, you're being an example of how to recover from when you screw up.
Like, we all make mistakes.
Yes.
Sorry.
But at the same, I'm not over apologetic, or like,
no, me
either.
I
don't cry
like,
with them.
Whoops. You had a bad day. I had a bad day.
Let's just
have a bad day.
Have a better day tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's always what I like. Anne of Green Gables. Tomorrow's the new day with no mistakes.
Until we're 10 minutes into waking up.
Yeah, and then it's already done.
Yeah.
And I have oftentimes, they have all those memes where, and I can relate to all of them, where it's like, I went to bed thinking that tomorrow I'm going to get up early. I'm going to do all these things.
Nope.
And then, no. Doesn't happen. So speaking of feeling like a failure,
Mom fail.
Get your wine or your cider. That sounds so good right now. You know what sounds good right now? Pina colada. Oh, so good. Anyway,
that does sound good.
It does. Or strawberry daiquiri. It's just so nice.
I was literally thinking strawberry daiquiri.
We should go. Let's go right now.
I know.
Anyway.
Some wine.
So, what is your mom fail? Or do you want me to share mine?
Share yours first.
Okay. So, speaking of, so my daughter, I think I've mentioned my little baby. She is 15 months. She's so cute. She is on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't say to a fault. I think it's really important to have a set schedule, and she totally does. She might be your kid, Katie.
She might.
Yeah, she's not.
She might be.
I don't know where this comes from, but so I was cleaning, and I was kind of on a roll, you
Mhm.
know? And I totally just kind of spaced the time. And I was like scrubbing down the wall of my entryway.
Mhm.
And I hear what turned out to be the garbage door, like the garbage cupboard,
Mhm.
opening and closing. And I didn't baby proof really. Like all the
I've never
detergent and
baby proofed.
everything is put
Mm-mm.
away,
Mhm.
and everything that can open or close, she can get into it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Except I didn't really think about, the garbage. So I come around the corner and she is eating toast, crust of toast
From the garbage?
from the trash.
Girl, she is self-sufficient.
And I that's how I felt. I felt bad because I was like, oh, it is
Nah.
lunchtime, isn't it? But then I was like, wait, you're totally taking care of yourself.
See?
Yeah.
Kids are way smarter than what we think. And obviously, no, you don't want your kids eating out of the
No,
garbage. But
you
they know,
don't.
like, I'm hungry and I'm going to go find something to eat.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
And she's not a big crier. She doesn't really, show a lot of irritation. She's not like my older daughter who did a lot of that. Like, I'm going to cry and, she just, I'm going to go take care of myself. Don't worry about it. But it is interesting because they're so different. But that was my mom fail. But also, I think, a child, it showed that she's got this. I'm done.
Yeah.
I could just leave her home.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Just kidding. Don't call CPS. Okay.
Oh my God.
How about
that's another quality of a mom. Like, how CPS are you? You know?
No, I don't
How?
like how close am I to calling CPS on you? Or like how
Like, are you one of those moms that are like, oh, I think we should call CPS? I think I maybe worked in this field for like way too long where that's
I've
even like
never
a thought that crossed
all
my
the
mind.
lay people, which, all the people who aren't in the
Yeah.
mental health field, I think most of them are too afraid to call CPS or wouldn't even know like
True.
how to. It's also like calling 911. People are scared to death to call 911. I can't tell you how many
I'm
times
not.
in my personal life
Yeah.
and my professional life I've called 911. Crazy.
I've called 911 a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I'm
like,
not friends
hey,
with them.
girl. It's me, boo.
So can you think of a mama fail?
I'm trying to think. I don't think it's like a one-time mom fail, and I don't even know if it's like a fail.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we're in the car, it never fails that whatever my daughter is holding, she drops it. Or she'll purposely throw it and it goes into the most awkward spots, like between the door and the car seat, and you're in the driver's seat and they're in the passenger in the back seat. And they're like, I need it. Get it for me. Or whatever. Oh my gosh, one time I told my daughter that when you roll your window down on the freeway, you get sucked out of the car. So she would stop asking me to roll her window down because it was super annoying. Like, no, you don't roll your window down on the freeway because if you do that at a high speed, you'll get sucked out. And my son's like, yeah, like the lady on the airplane on the news. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we don't roll the windows down in the car. Judge away. So anyway,
I think we should write a book
when she
called Lies Kay Tells to her kids.
Parenting out of fear, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're to that point where you're like, I just need you to shut up. You're not going to listen to reason because you're 3 or 4.
So here's some crazy thing. You'll get
I'm
sucked
gonna
out.
make up some stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just be quiet now because now you get sucked out of the window. And now she's like, don't roll my window down. See? It's done. Boom. But yet, like, we don't do Christmas Santa Claus because that's a lie. But anyway.
Let's not get too deep into it.
Let's not get too deep. But every time she drops something on the floor, even if I can reach it, I just tell her I can't. Like, I'm not picking that up for you. And instead of me saying I'm not getting that, I just say I can't reach it. And she'll be like, okay, when we stop, like, yeah, maybe when we stop, but I'm not
You'll
getting
probably
that for
forget
you.
about it by then.
Yeah.
And then,
like, I'm not picking your stuff up.
mm-hmm.
No. So, I don't know. Maybe I should. No, I'm not going to work on that.
Yeah,
But the moms who are like, okay, let me pull over so I could get out of the car and go find that one sticker that you just dropped.
did stuff like that.
Stop it.
I did it. And I regret it now. I
wish I would have been in the passenger seat and like punched you in your face.
Yes. And I would have been like, oh.
We don't do that.
What? We don't?
No.
Oh. And I think all of it came from a good place. I wanted to be a good mom. And I wanted to be a good parent.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to get completely into it, but I think a lot of times, when your childhood was not ideal,
you go to compensate for it.
Yeah.
I do that with taking pictures of my kids because I don't have any pictures of my childhood. And I religiously get my kids' pictures taken all the time.
There's a lot of stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Or like even volunteering at the school or like those picking him up and dropping him off from school.
Yep.
Because that never, like, I just had to be on the bus my whole life. And I was so jealous of like
kids like that. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Their parents love them.
I think, our next episode is going to be on mom guilt. So tune in.
What is your product?
Oh, my product. Oh my gosh. To talk about my product, I have to like fill you in on some personal stuff okay. I am trying to be healthier. No.
Okay.
No. But if anyone has any, suggestions, I'll take them. I like my vagina to smell like creamsicles. That's been my goal for a while. I think it already does.
Probably.
But, no, I have been trying not to be so carby. I seriously have a straight up carb addiction. So I have grown fond of these chocolate chips. They are Lily's chocolate chips. They are sweetened with stevia instead of sugar. And they're dark chocolate. And they're so good.
Are they amazing?
Oh my gosh. To me, they taste like just a regular chocolate chip. And then I don't feel so bad about it. And then, just like, and the problem that always has been with me is that I've never felt bad about it. There's that new Amy Schumer movie, I Feel Pretty. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I've seen the previews
that is me. Like, I don't know, like, I don't wear makeup and I don't like because I think I look great.
Oh my God.
And that's part of like, and I've never been self-conscious. Like, I've always just been maybe a little, like, in my marriage and I don't know if there's such thing as being too naked, but I'm just like, oh yeah. And my husband, like, I think at first he said, wow, I'm really surprised that you're not self-conscious. And I was like, why should I be?
I'm the exact opposite.
Oh.
Opposite.
No, I'm like, here it is. And that's just what it's like.
Not me. I've like never like walked naked in front of my husband, or like if I'm like drying off, he's not allowed to come in the bathroom, or
I was literally taking a shit the other day and my husband walked in.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he was like,
we've done that before.
Do you guys do that? Some people are like, no, I don't let my husband see me in the bathroom.
No, I totally take a shit when he's brushing his teeth.
And he was like, you're so hot. I was like, I love you.
I'm
having
think
a baby,
it's just, like,
I'm
the
naming after you.
of, like being in front of him, like just standing there naked in front of him. I don't like that feeling. But like, we have no shortage of sexy time at all. But it's like if I'm drying off, it's like, why are you? Don't. Okay.
Well, there's times where, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, we're done here.
I get a little bit like that breastfeeding sometimes. Like,
really?
Yeah, he's like looking at it like it's sexy. I'm like, ew.
Like,
no.
Well, weird.
This is not. You just made this awkward.
Yeah. My product this week is probably my new Sonicare toothbrush.
I've always wanted one. Is it amazing? I'm going to use yours.
So I get them all the time, and then when I get a new one, I give my old one to the kids because you just change out the things.
Change out the head. Yeah.
Yeah, I have this super cute pink Sonicare toothbrush, and I got my husband a blue one.
Aww.
And now the kids have our old ones. Like, they've always had Sonicare toothbrushes. Mm-hmm. It's a little extravagant for
schmarmy.
Children.
Yeah.
But I love it. And then my husband just got a water pick. I don't know how to use it because I end up like squirting water all over the mirror, and I don't know, like.
I thought those were for masturbating.
A water pick?
Yeah.
Stop it. No, you did not. Oh my God.
Whenever I go over to people's homes and they have them, that's what I use it for.
Well. So anyways, guys, it's been real.
I knew that. But yes, no, I hear water picks are amazing. I had a boss one time tell me it changed her life. But maybe she was using it for masturbating.
One time I was in like 5th grade and I watched that movie Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about like the penis pump.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we live next to these people and I would like go help babysit their kids. And now thinking back on it, like, well, I was older because my son skipped a grade. So I was like, what are you, like 11 or 12 in 5th grade?
You're 11, 10, 11.
Yeah. So I would go help them. They had twin babies. And one time they went on vacation, they paid me to go clean their house while they were gone, like do the dishes and stuff. And I was putting the towels away and there was like this pump in there. And I literally thought it was like a penis pump, but then later on it was like a foot pump for like an air mattress. But I literally thought that had a penis pump.
One time when I was babysitting,
like
I did
so fixated on it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh no! Oh, and how many years had to go by before you realized that wasn't a penis pump?
I think I was probably in like high school when somebody else had the same thing, and I'm like,
oh, that's what it's for.
What is that? And they're like, oh, it's for an air mattress, and you like step on it. It had like the accordion step pump on it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was like,
it's not for penis.
Like blowing up his penis.
Oh no.
So crazy. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We will definitely be checking in with you on our Insta, Facebook, email.
It's 4 realtalkjk@gmail.com. And everything else we have, ooh, there's the dog, is 4 realtalkjk. And Instagram and Facebook. Hit us up. All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.